Welcome back to 96.7 FM, Living Well Talk Radio with your host, Suzanne Streisauer. I want to introduce you to my guest, Brian Stracner, who's going to be talking to us about this topic, subconscious science, and how to use it to enhance our lives. It's an exciting topic to explore, and there's so many different ways to use your mind. Brian's been a Chico local, and he's run for the past 3 years a private hypnotherapy practice called North State Hypnosis. He has a fantastic, informative website for everything about hypnosis, www.northstatehypnosis.net. Check out his site. Brian has studied many alternative states of consciousness, religion, and philosophy for the last 2 decades. He's done stage hypnosis and focused on eye trance movements and animal magnetism. Brian currently teaches self-improvement classes, hypnosis, and provides informative demonstrations on the subconscious mind to groups and businesses, including the Coleman Museum, service organizations, the Chico Holistic Healthcare Center, and has done a segment for Channel 24 News. Brian is a contributing author for the Northern California Golf Gazette, where his focus is on performance enhancement through the mental game of golf. And I'm going to hope Brian will actually shed some light on that for all you golfers out there. Welcome, Brian, to Living Well Talk Radio.
Thank you, Suzanne.
I'm glad you're here, Brian, and I want you to give us some insight just about, how you got into this whole thing. How in the world what made you want to do this?
Well, years ago when I was in elementary school, my friend's dad came and did a stage hypnosis demonstration for the kids, and I was just amazed. And I had to get my hands on everything that I could to learn about the subconscious mind and about trance and hypnosis.
Great. And what did you discover about those things, the subconscious mind and trance and hypnosis? How do those all work together? What do you do with them?
Well, basically, we're all trance machines. We go through different states of trance all the time. And if the suggestions are delivered right, they will have a profound effect on a person.
Right. So you're kind of helping people wake up to go and access their subconscious mind so then they can receive more useful information, right?
Well, it's interesting that you say wake up, because probably about 80% of what I do is dehypnotize people from their normal programming. So wow. Definitely, yes.
Okay, well, that sounds really good, Brian. So now, in your work with people, tell us a little bit about how you actually work with people in their subconscious minds. How do you help them access it? How do you help them get results? What do you do with people?
Well, basically, I use some testing techniques that are based on the Myers-Briggs personality test. And the reason why I do that is because everybody has a different suggestibility type. Some people are more extroverted, while other people are more introverted, while others are more intellectual. So you want to be able to communicate the right suggestions so that their subconscious mind can learn the most efficiently.
Great. So what that means is that you work with kind of the way each person learns in one way, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, that's great. So tell me how hypnosis works, because I know that some people think it's pretty woo-woo and out there. What exactly does hypnosis do?
Well, basically, only 12% of our mind is conscious. 10 to 12, they say. And right around 88% is subconscious. So if we can get the subconscious mind on the same team as our conscious willpower, then we can have longer-lasting changes and more immediate results for whatever it is that we want to succeed in.
Nice. I'm going to have you give us an example about golf in a minute. But so when you do that and when you work with people, is there anybody you can't hypnotize? I know some people, have asked me over the years, well, but I can't be hypnotized. And I say to them, well, if you can daydream, you can be hypnotized. Is there anybody you can't hypnotize?
There are very few, and generally it is just because there's some kind of resistance or fear or like me versus you type of thing going on. And if that's the case, then usually what I like to do is switch to a neurolinguistic programming or like a coaching method, because if they're not comfortable with that process, then right, you might as well work with what they got.
Right. And you're so good at that, Brian, I have to say. All right, so what do people commonly come to see you for? What do they want to accomplish? Who comes to see you? What do they want to get out of time spent with you?
I get a lot of people who want to become more healthy in some way, like quit smoking or gain fitness. I don't really like to say lose weight because we don't really want to lose anything. But that is a big program because I'm also a nutrition coach and a personal fitness trainer. So I believe that the more tools a person has, the more success that they will be able to have also.
Okay. And so just a general sort of rule of thumb, how many people really manage to quit smoking when you work with them? Do they manage to stay quit, or?
Most people do. I offer free follow-up sessions for people who are quitting smoking because I want to really help them on the long term. So if they ever do go back to cigarettes, they can come in and just do a booster session. So I always offer that because I really want to help the person.
Okay, well, thanks for that, Brian. Stay with us. We're going to go for a break. This is Living Well Talk Radio, 96.7 FM, Bold Talk Radio out of Chico, California. Welcome back to Living Well Talk Radio, 96.7 FM. This is your host, Suzanne Streisauer, and our topic today is subconscious science with Brian Stracner. And we want to start this segment with Brian giving an example. I mentioned to you about Tony Robbins and the motivation piece there. And so now I want Brian to give a local example of that for us. He's a golfer himself, of how he helps people enhance their swing. So why don't you talk to people, Brian, and let our listeners know about how you can help them enhance their golf.
One of the things that I hear the most on the golf course is how difficult it is to go from the driving range to the greens. And people will do great at the driving range because there's no attachment to the ball. But as soon as they're using their own ball and they're on the greens, all of a sudden the whole game changes for them. And one of the reasons why I believe this happens is because we get too critical of ourselves before we make the swing. It's okay to be critical, but we need to have it after the swing and be focusing more on our pre-shot routine before we address the ball, and then just being in that moment with the ball as you follow through with that swing. And the good way to do that is to have one positive golf thought. And the way I do that, everyone has their own, but the way I do that is I just think, yes, this is going to be a good shot.
So you sort of feel that inside, visualize it, feel it, yes, it's going to be a good shot, and you feel that kind of energetically and emotionally in your body ever before you even open your eyes to where you're going to hit the ball, right?
Emotion is so important. I think people try to detach themselves from emotion a lot in the world today, and if we can use the positive emotions for things like that, then of course it's going to create better results in life in general. Okay,
and I know you're going to be writing an article soon for the Golf Gazette that we have up here about the mental game of golf, right?
Yes.
So do you have an ongoing class that you do for golfers, or is any program you have for golfers that sports people could use?
I see people privately, and I work with them with NLP and anchoring, and it's kind of technical to talk about over the radio right now, but if someone wants to get a free consultation, of course they can contact me.
Great, or they could actually invite you up to go and do a little demo up there, right, with everybody?
Yeah, for sure.
That's great. So tell me a little bit more about the difference between self-hypnosis and when you work with people. What are the benefits of somebody doing self-hypnosis versus coming to see you? Because you can get a $29.95, self-hypnosis tape, but if somebody comes to see you, what are they coming different than doing it on their own?
Well, self-hypnosis and heterohypnosis, or being hypnotized by someone else, is different, but it's also the same because we all allow ourselves to be hypnotized. And if you can have someone guiding you through the process and also kind of looking at your issue objectively, almost like an alien would be looking at the earth, then in a lot of ways they can point out things that you don't see about yourself. It's just like when you're talking with a friend and they say, oh, well, you got this going on, and you never noticed that yourself.
Great. So, Brian, why don't you tell our listeners how they can contact you and give them your website so that they know how to get in contact with you?
Well, my website is www.northstatehypnosis.net. My phone number is 530-828-0880, and you can reach me through email as well, which is northstatehypnosis@live.com.
Welcome back to Living Well Talk Radio. This is Suzanne Streisauer with my guest, Brian Stracner, and we're talking about subconscious science. Brian, I have a last question that I really want you to answer, and to just give us, if there's a mantra you could give us or a thought that we could keep in our minds. Everybody's having tough times with the economy now. So what is a suggestion that people can hold on to and put in their subconscious mind, like an affirmation, to help them feel better? What would that be?
Well, with all the tough times that are going on right now, it's really easy to focus on how bad things are or what we don't want. But I like to tell people, don't yourself, because all you're doing is creating more of what you don't want. It's just like if you think about something and that you're not wanting, like don't think about a red stop sign right now. You can't help but think about it because that's the focus of the linguistics or the language. So to reframe that, you kind of want to just ask yourself, well, what is it that I do want? And maybe it's you want a green light. Maybe you want more money. If you're saying, I don't want to...
So always frame it in the positive then. So
yes.
Don't do negative self-talk. Think about the positive vision, and life will be good. It'll be better and move in that direction. Well, thanks again, Brian, for coming on Living Well Talk Radio with me. And now I just want to go and give you Brian's contact information one last time. It's Brian Stracner at North State Hypnosis, and the web is northstatehypnosis.net. And Brian can be reached at 530-828-0880. And I want to let you know a little bit about my show for next week. It's going to I have a special guest. It's my brother, but he's a very unique individual, so I wanted him to come online. Title is called Looking Inside the Mind of a Serial Entrepreneur and Inventor. He has 150 different patents. He actually was inventing things when we were in high school and taking things apart when he was in 6th grade. So we're going to see what the inside of a creative mind looks like and then how to use that in some productive way. Brian worked with us on the inside today, and we're going to work with how we take that outside. I can be reached at Suzanne@yournextstepcoach.com, and you can find me also. I have a website, fulfillyourlifepurposenow.com, if you want to get in touch with your life purpose, where I give you a free 5-step guide to do that. And I can also be reached by phone at 530-589-5552. Please be a Facebook friend of mine, and I will look forward to hearing you and having you with me next week. Remember, in the meantime, successfully take your place in the world and be fulfilled inside and out.
Bold Talk 96.7 FM is KZAP Paradise Chico. Clearly a better talk station on the FM dial. We're Bold Talk 96.7 FM.